Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tip. I'm glad you made it. Let's talk about proposed reductions to your rating. It's one of those things that's on the back of almost every single veteran that I've ever talked to is the worry, the stress, the anxiety about the VA coming back at some point and going, guess what? We're going to reduce you. What happens if the VA does send out that proposed reduction to you? Okay, it's one thing to worry about it, it's another thing to actually get it, and how you can combat it is the most important thing. So let's jump into it here. Whether this is something that directly isn't going to impact you today or not, or if it's something that you could share with somebody, all of those things matter. So please hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, share it with a friend, share it with a veteran service organization. Get the word out so people understand. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for doing that. If you want to support the channel in other ways, consider being a member. Thank you so much. To all you members, I really do truly appreciate your support. All right, so let's jump into it. I actually found a nice kind of overview here. I'll give the credit to Wounded Warrior Project, and I will do my best to explain or add where I can. So let's move on. A proposed reduction is when the Department of Veterans Affairs intends to reduce disability compensation benefits due to a change in a veteran's status. Okay, that's the number one piece. So VA could reduce a veteran's benefits if your injury or illness has improved or if you have a change in dependency. So you had 3 dependents, now they're all adults and on their way. Well, you got to change it, right? So that's a normal thing. It's important to pay attention to your VA disability compensation benefits and open the mail from the VA. Don't just assume you know what it is, right? Don't assume that you think you know what that piece of paper is going to be. Open it up and read it. Time is of the essence in a lot of these situations, and we'll get into that in a minute. Wounded Warrior Project is here to help avoid these issues. If you receive a VA notification of a proposed reduction, contact an accredited veteran service officer immediately. I agree 100%. Wounded Warrior Project wants veterans to be prepared for, and I do too, for any changes in their benefits, including proposed reductions, and to know there is help if veterans have questions or issues regarding their VA benefits. Here are some tips to prepare for and avoid a VA proposed reduction. And there's several bullet points here, so stick with me. This is, again, how to prepare for and how to avoid VA proposed reduction. So number one, keep contact information updated. Why? Why should you give the VA your new address? Because if they mail you something, you need to make sure you get it timely, right? You don't need it to bounce back to the post office and then try to go through the forwarding process and then end up at you after the timelines, right? So the VA doesn't care if, I moved and, the post office was slow. So keep contact information updated. If you move, make sure to notify VA of your change of address or changed phone number or email address. This includes both the Veterans Health Administration and the VBA, the Veterans Benefits Administration. Why? Because they don't really talk very well to each other, so update them both. You don't want to be surprised by a reduction because you didn't get the notification. Next bullet, inform the VA of dependent changes, okay? And this is going to help you avoid any future debts, okay? If you no longer have a dependent because you got divorced or you got your children grew up and moved down to the house and they're not going to school and all that stuff and they're no longer dependents, update the VA, update that information with the VA as soon as possible so they don't keep paying you, because eventually they're going to figure it out and they will go back and they will rip all of that money away. So notify VA immediately of any changes to your dependents, including a child reaching age of maturity, marriage, divorce, death, or anything else that may affect dependent status. Now, for some of us, you may have dependent parents as well. All right, so third bullet here, respond immediately. Time is of the essence when it comes to proposed reductions. The window to request a hearing is only 30 days. You have a 30-day window to request a hearing, and the window to submit supporting evidence is only 60 days. So if you wish to dispute the proposed reduction, make sure to respond as quickly as possible. Now, look, we're already at 5 minutes. I have a few more bullet points here to get through, and I got chickens laying eggs. Here we are. So the biggest piece here, and they don't talk about it, is if you file for the request of a hearing within 30 days, the VA will not reduce you until they go through that whole process of your hearing. They will not reduce you. Now, if you miss that 30-day window, what's that mean? That means they could reduce you. You could still dispute it and go through the process, but what if it takes 6 months or a year? You're going to have a lower rating during that time period, and you don't want that, right? That's the whole purpose of this. So I wish they would have spelled it out in here. I mean, good for them for putting this list together, but the importance of filing for a hearing, in my opinion, it's just me, my opinion is you have no choice. You have to file for a hearing, because that puts the VA in handcuffs, and they cannot reduce your rating while you're going through the hearing. If it turns out that yes, they're still going to reduce you, then they will. But if you have enough evidence for you to not be reduced, at least you didn't get reduced while they're trying to figure that out. All right. So it says here, the next bullet, keep a log. Because medical exams may be needed to avoid a reduction, keep a detailed account of how you're feeling and the day-to-day effects your injury or illness is having on you. Make sure to keep medical appointments and let your doctor know the complete and full extent of your injuries and or illnesses. Here's the problem that people run into when it comes to reductions from the VA. I'm getting my medical care, I'm getting my diagnosis, I'm filing my claim, bam, I get my award, and I stop going for anything medical. In some cases, you're going to have conditions that are not deemed as static, and you're going to potentially have future exams, and they're going to be looking at, okay, well, you haven't even seen a doctor for the last 4 years regarding this condition. Could be mental health, could be GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease, could be a hiatal hernia, could be anything that the VA thinks, well, you really haven't been getting treatment, so let's see how it works out, and we'll reevaluate you in several years. So it's important to continue to see the doctor because you want to show the VA the static nature of your condition so they don't reduce you or propose a reduction. All right. Get help is the next one. Get help is the next bullet point. If you're confused about the process of the proposed reduction and have questions about how to dispute it or your next steps and what you should do, reach out to a veteran service organization like the Wounded Warrior Project to get free assistance from experienced benefit advocates. So yes, VSOs, veteran service organizations, VSOs, veteran service officers, veteran service reps, anybody who's accredited from the VA that can provide free services for you, either in your backyard or reach out to a national entity and see if they can help you. I agree. And again, time is of the essence. You have a 30-day time period in which to request that hearing. All right, plan ahead. If you're likely to experience a reduction because a child is no longer eligible for payments or other foreseeable changes, prepare early by creating a new budget, reducing expenses and spending and savings. Wounded Warrior Project's financial education programs can help veterans minimize the impact by providing veterans and their family members with the tools and support to improve and maintain their financial well-being. All right, so that's a lot of stuff going on. There's more information, but it's a lot of quotations and just some other just kind of general overview. This is the big pieces of the debt reduction, or not debt, your disability compensation proposal for reduction. This is kind of the big pieces of it, right? The 30-day window for a hearing, the 60-day to provide additional evidence. Get with and accredited representative to help walk you through it. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.